Filthy pig.
But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like
Nerdrotic fans
out on national television and fucking go into business for himself?
My thoughts exactly, Phil. Thank you for that. Welcome back to another episode of Doomer Rants, and this week I'm going to call this one, There's No Such Thing as a Woke Movie. And here's why, okay? You see a lot of these anti-woke creators and what they put out there, and a lot of times it's very incoherent. There's never been like a set definition for what makes a woke movie or video game or TV show or any of those things. No form of entertainment. And when you ask these people, when you press just a little bit, they fall apart. Woke is when black people. Woke is when women. Woke is anything I don't like. And that's stupid. And here's why, okay? If you're going to make the point that a movie is woke, at least, for the love of God, provide a definition. And I'm going to use one of the most prolific creators of this anti-woke stuff, Critical Drinker, or what he likes to call
The Message.
Now, what exactly is
The Message?
Now, you can see from the attached image what the message includes are things like, let's work together, and equality. Horrible, horrible things that people should not be doing, okay? You need to not work together. You are an alpha, okay? And alphas do not work together. We work by ourselves, okay? What this image and the idea of the message really lacks is a coherent definition. So I'm here, without anyone asking, giving what I find to be the definition of what makes something woke. Now, if you have a better definition, feel free, comment, tell me I'm dumb, tell me I'm wrong, or tell me why it doesn't include the things you don't like, okay? But I'm going to put it up here, all right? So to me, something that's woke in entertainment is when something, either a character, plot, casting, narrative, blah, 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 whatever, is inserted to the detriment of the piece to address a political issue or topic. Now, that word detriment, that is key here, okay? I want you all to put the Cheeto bag down, all right? Stop angrily commenting and go Google the word detriment, okay? I'll wait. Okay, we're back. And now you are armed with a new word. How about that? So when you say something is woke and you say something promotes diversity or whatever, it has to be at the detriment of the piece. And I'll give an example, okay? One of the most hated characters recently, especially in Star Wars fandom, is Rey from The Force Awakens and the new trilogy, right? She's not bad because she's a girl boss. She's bad because she was poorly written. She is not a good character. She doesn't overcome adversity. She doesn't do any of the things that made us adore Luke Skywalker, okay? But is it that she's a woman that makes it bad? No. She is poorly written, all right? Imagine, take that, start firing a couple more synapses here. You can do this, all right? You can do this. I believe in you. What if Rey was a white guy? What if Rey was played by the whitest guy ever? I don't know, Paul Rudd, all right? Imagine Paul Rudd as Rey. Does that make the character better? No, it doesn't, because she's a shit character. And she always was a shit character, but not because she was a girl, okay? So use this definition, all right? I want you to use this and then give me an example, okay? I already see it now in the comments. What about Ghostbusters 2016? Okay. Well, a little known fact is before the Boomer and I started doing just general movie reviews, we had a little show we called Was It Woke? And what Was It Woke is we would go and watch these movies that were considered woke at the time and figure out, were they actually woke? Now, with the benefit of hindsight, what type of political message or whatever was trying to come across here, okay? 2016 Ghostbusters was not woke. It sucked. It wasn't a good movie, but it wasn't woke, okay? It sucked because they wrote Bridesmaids 2, and for some reason, they just lacquered Ghostbusters on top of it, okay? It wasn't funny. It wasn't interesting. But the fact they were girls had nothing to do with it. They weren't girl bosses, okay? They overcame adversity, sure, but that's part of a movie. Another controversy in that movie is Liam Hemsworth plays a dumbass. Okay, big deal. We don't care that there's one character in there who's a dummy, and that's his whole arc. Doesn't make him a good character. He had funny parts, but it's not because he was a man. That's just who he played, okay? And I have a theory about the origin of all of this idea of wokeness and a controversy. And here it goes, is I think that there was an executive, I think Warner Brothers, I don't know who did Ghostbusters, whatever, it's not important. I think there was an executive in the boardroom that watched this movie and thought, dear God, this is a piece of shit. What are we going to do about this movie? We're not going to make any money on that, because really, at the end of the day, the executives, the people who actually, call the shots about what gets made and what doesn't get made, all they care about is money. I am of the same cloth, okay? I'm cut from the same cloth as these people. It's just money, all right? If Turning Point USA cuts me a 5-figure check today, I will tell you that Rey was a woke character and that she's terrible. Or if the Democrats or whoever wants to, Ezra Klein, abundance is you cutting me a check and me changing my opinion to whatever you tell me, okay? That's how it goes. So anyways, they're in the boardroom and they see 2016 Ghostbusters and they say, dear God, this is the worst piece of shit we have ever made. What are we going to do? And then they think, hey, everybody kind of draws a line in the sand about everything now. Musicians, artists, beer, why not a movie? So what we're going to do is we're going to try and monetize the Orange Man bad crowd. That's what we're going to do. We're going to turn seeing this hunk of garbage movie into a political action, okay? And that's what they did. Now ask yourself, again, just like Rey, if they made the same movie and they were men and they made Liam Hemsworth's character a woman, would it be a better movie? No, it wouldn't, because the movie still fucking sucked and the dialogue sucked and the characters sucked and it had nothing to do with gender and it had nothing to do with race. And it never does. So I implore you, put the Cheeto bag down again, okay? One more time. You can munch away after this. Please, tell me a movie that was woke, that fit in the criteria, okay? I can give you an example. There was a video game, one of the Assassin's Creed games. I forget the name of it. I don't play those games. Where there was a black gay samurai, okay? Checking a lot of diversity boxes there. But it wasn't bad because he was black and he was gay. It's because it didn't make fucking sense, okay? If you have a black gay character running around feudal Japan, that doesn't really make sense. That's why it was bad. And yeah, if you turn that into a Japanese gay guy, okay, it makes a little more sense, all right? That's fine. Do that, all right? I see that there's a controversy right now about Christopher Nolan's new movie, The Odyssey, and how it has black people in it. Well, we're talking about, number one, this is not like a historically accurate retelling, I'm guessing. And number two, this is what all Greek men look like. Okay? You want these guys on the battlefield? There isn't a lens wide enough to capture these bodies, okay? And then one more thing. I got a comment in the last video that was, oh, well, did you see Kathleen Kennedy? She was wearing the Forces female shirt. I don't care. You shouldn't care either, okay? You shouldn't care because Rey was not lightsaber fighting in the shirt, okay? If it's in the movie, sure, include it in your criticism. But if it's not in the movie, who cares? And that was kind of the conclusion of the whole series of Was It Woke, is it's not really the movies that are woke. It's the press tour. It's the interviews. But all that external shit doesn't mean anything, okay? They're just trying to... This is the opposite marketing, okay? If you're falling for this, you're like a dog being led around on a leash, okay? And it cuts both ways. If you're going to see this movie because the Force is female and it's empowerment, that's also super lame. You're a dog being led on a leash. And you're not a smart dog. You're the type of dog that has to wear a diaper, because it shits everywhere it goes, okay? And listen, I don't care that Rey was a girl. We need female Jedi. That's the only way my wife is going to accept a lightsaber duel, okay? So that's it. That's all I have to say here. I just wanted all of you to know that there is no such thing as a woke movie. And if you do come at me in the comments about, well, actually, this movie's woke, okay, you need to tell me why. And if a race or a theme was changed or moved around or whatever, why does that make it worse? Okay? So that's it. Goodbye.